Well, hello there. Welcome in. You're on the lifeboat. This is Captain Calhoun speaking. What is going on, folks? Welcome in. We're going to talk about something semi controversial. I didn't realize that this was as controversial as it is until I started researching it, but gaming addiction is not accepted as an addiction everywhere. This is still something we're coming to the table for. So, very interesting topic, I have to say. Blessed to Crochet, good to see you. Brianna Miller, TKK, Kristen Melinda, what is going on? Hope training goes well for you. Tamber June, hello, good morning. Beta, hello, hello. And I have to say, my opinion is this is definitely an addiction, and I'll tell you why. Um, Among many other reasons, South Korea has listed gaming addiction as its number one health problem. Number one health problem. Now, I don't know. I'm pretty familiar with the South Korean culture as far as gaming goes because I game. And as far as in the gaming culture, South Korea is at the top of the totem pole. They are ahead as far as the rest of the world is concerned, as far as the rest of gamers are concerned. The way that they handle gaming, the way that it's like a sport over there. So for everyone else that doesn't live in South Korea that is a gamer, it's a pretty big deal. They're a pretty big deal. So the fact that they're saying it's their number one health problem, that's pretty wild. That's a big statement, and I can definitely see why. There throughout this episode, you're going to see, or I'm going to illustrate similarities between gaming addiction and any other addiction you could think of, but mainly cocaine. These similarities are abound, but the similarities between gaming addiction and cocaine addiction are astoundingly similar. So we'll talk about it, which is very interesting as well. That blew my mind. That blew my mind. It's a Final Fantasy. What's going on in Carnival? I think that's funny. I think that's funny. Katrina Schaff, what's going on? Good morning. Loads of pain, says Tamber June. Hoping I can get some rest, but I do know people who are addicted to gaming. My dad and mom were addicted to PC games when I was a child. Very sad for us kiddos. So I'm sorry to hear that, Tamber. I have some good friends. In fact, Tony's mom. I don't know if she was addicted to gaming, but she did play a lot of games. And in fact, all of us played a lot of games. Me and Tony and Dustin, and we never played games with their mom, but she would play a lot. It's very interesting. I wonder. Maybe I should ask Dustin what he thinks about that. Dusty boy. In my opinion, says Brianna Miller, I think that anything that gives you dopamine has the potential to become addicting. I agree with that. And I had intended to say, let me backtrack here. I hope that you can get through your pain, Tamber. Let's put some ones up for Tamber June and anyone else that needs thoughts and prayers today, huh? Anyone else that needs some love. All righty. Izzy E has made alive. Welcome in. Welcome aboard. Cindy G, good to see you. Hello, hello. Let's pull these notes back up. I keep losing them. Also, so here we go. Gaming addiction also often exists alongside mental health disorders like ADHD, anxiety, depression, social isolation, which it's worth noting drug addictions also often exist alongside health or mental health disorders. So it's par for the course here, right? It directly interacts with the reward system of your brain, activates the release of dopamine, which is the endorphin that's widely associated with pleasure and reinforcement, right? It's what we talk about on this channel all the time. Your reward system is what we're trying to retrain. It's what's broken after beating an addiction, right? After cold turkeying, after getting off whatever I was on, the reward system of my brain is no longer functioning properly, right? So gaming in general interacts directly with this system as well, right? Making progress, earning achievements. Where do I have this written down? Achievements, rewards, progress. These all trigger dopamine release, reinforcing your desire to play, right? As opposed to, maybe I'm doing blow. And triggering a dopamine release and reinforcing my desire to do more blow, right? It's the exact same thing. And now you can trigger your dopamine release with a lot of stuff, right? We talk about retraining this reward system on this channel all the time. And we do that by exercising, by doing novel things, right? Doing something for the first time. So it's easy to play some games, right? And get this release. But it's also pretty easy to go get a little bit of exercise or to go do something for the first time, right? It might require a little more logistics. It might require a little more, self-imposed desire. I might have to make myself get up and do it, but it's just as easy to get the same dopamine release through methods that aren't going to bring me away from my family, right? That aren't going to interfere with my job. And again, so playing games isn't the problem, right? If we're talking about gaming addiction, it's when I'm playing games when I should be doing other things, right? It's when the game playing starts affecting my relationships, my job, my responsibilities, right? Compulsive behavior um, is something that is an umbrella that this definitely falls under, right? A powerful urge to continue engaging in the activity despite consequences. This is where gaming can become a problem, right? You can be addicted to games all day long, but if you know when to turn it off, right? If you are not sacrificing other aspects of your life, then you've got no issues. But when we are, which if you're addicted to gaming, I imagine that you are in some aspect, that's when it becomes an issue. Gonna put some tincture in here. This coffee is not hot yet. I mean, it's hot, right? It's temperature hot, but we're gonna put some capsaicin oil in here. This is pure capsaicin. Capsaicin is the oil and peppers that makes them spicy. So we're not doing anything crazy. We're not doing drugs, blah, blah, blah. If you're new here, this is spicy pepper oil. And it smells crazy. I tell you what. Shout out to Dale Cox. I hope he's doing well today. All the other pepperheads out there. Izzy E. This is, by the way, the Polar Bear by Grizzly Heat. This is that stuff that really knocks me off my feet. And my tolerance has been getting up there. So I've decided to start using this in my coffee in the morning. Yesterday it's pretty good. So today, hopefully it'll be good too. Beat whoa, it's quite spicy, guys. Beta says, deaf and addiction. I was a teacher. So many boys mostly got gaming addiction, got addicted to gaming. One of them even got psychotic episodes from playing and not sleeping. So not sleeping has wild effects on the psyche. Wild, wild effects. If anyone in here has had an addiction to cocaine or to amphetamines or any sort of upper that's powerful, I'm sure that you know at least about what can happen when you don't sleep. In fact, I'm pretty sure you can only go like 3 days without sleep before you die. It's pretty necessary. Your body needs that break to do background processes, to get things in order, to sweep the floor, to do the maintenance on the joint. Gaming is a nice escape from reality, says Brianna Miller. And that's definitely, one of the attractive bits of it for me is I get to play around in a fantasy world. I mean, when I read books, I mostly read fantasy. I like fantasy. When I watch movies, I like to watch a fantasy story, right? Not necessarily fantasy, but fiction. I do enjoy a story, right? So this is my gateway into gaming, right? I want to enjoy some fantasy, blah, 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 blah. But again, the problem becomes when we're escaping reality when we should be dealing with it, right? It's one thing to just have a hop, skip, and a jaunt, through a meadow. But it's, if you're staying in that meadow instead of taking care of your kids or, making yourself dinner, which honestly, that's one of the things that I run into often is I won't feed myself because I'm playing, right? Or I won't go to bed on time because I'm playing. Now, again, I want to also take this time to say I'm not really suffering from gaming addiction. I would have to say I have a gaming addiction, but it's being managed, right? It's being addressed. I'm not neglecting responsibilities for games, but it would be very easy for me to do so. It would be very easy for me to do so, but I thought this would be apt. since it's something that I'm addressing currently. Wow, this is really spicy coffee. I thought I put the same amount that I did yesterday. Maybe today's tolerance isn't yesterday's tolerance. Hmm? Hmm? Cindy G says, what about those negative behaviors when you're forced to leave games? The internet goes down. What about those negative behaviors when you're forced to leave games? The internet goes down. You mean like when people freak out when their game turns off and stuff like that? Is that what you mean, Cindy? And I think that's a very good indicator that there's a gaming addiction going on when the game becomes very important. And I tell you what, when I was a kid, I would get pissed at games all the time. The game wouldn't have to we wouldn't have to lose power or anything like that. If a difficult boss, right, was beating me up or there was something in the game that was bothering me, I would get so angry. And this is definitely, in my opinion, a sign that someone's experiencing gaming addiction. Um, and maybe it's time to talk about solutions because we seem to be quite familiar with gaming addiction and what it is. And maybe I don't need to break it down all that much. It's pretty cut and dry. It's pretty straightforward. Um, but solutions, where did I put those? I have those written down too. Are going to be very similar to all the other solutions that we talk about here, right? Peer support. Did I have this written down somewhere else? Now I'm scared. I might have to go off the hip with this. I might have lost it. Oh, that's a bummer. Son of a biscuit. Now all the info is gone. Okay, well, we're going to go from the hip. This might be an addiction that requires an intervention. That's what I was getting at. I mean, we're talking about something that's stoking your reward system as strongly and as in the same way that cocaine is, right? Now, picture your friend that's deep in the dark depths of a cocaine or a crack addiction, right? Are they going to stop by themselves? Most likely not. They need a helping hand. Now, the gaming addiction isn't going to have such severe health issues, right? Cocaine's going to damage your lungs, your brain. It's going to do terrible, terrible damage to your body. Terrible damage. Okay. Gaming addiction isn't going to do that. It's going to be a slow degradation, right? You might gain some weight. You might, your social circle might shrink, right? You're isolating. Maybe you're losing your job, though, right? Maybe you're not showing up to work on time. Maybe your mood swings are becoming epic, right? Because you're not getting the proper sleep and you're not getting the dopamine that you need throughout your day because you're getting so much of it when you're playing games, right? So again, this is just to say this might require some intervention. This might require a friend to step in. This might require you to reach out for help if you're the one addicted. Um, and it's going to involve setting limits, boundaries on yourself, right? I'm going to play games for this amount of time, or I'm only going to play at this time of day after I've done my responsibilities. It's going to require some form of boundary setting, as well as most likely going to require some like rehabilitation, right? We're going to have to rehabilitate. What's going on, REA? Yeah, you and me both, dude. I'm not trying to point any fingers or anything, but I could definitely benefit from some of this knowledge. And I know a lot of gamers, I feel like we could all benefit from this information, whether or not we're addicted, right? I feel like you've got a pretty good handle on things, man. You got a family, everything seems to be going fine, right? But anyways, good to see you, REA. I really enjoyed your stream last night. I had never watched that game before. Pretty good, dude. The trolls you were getting were making me laugh. Yeah. Anyways, I really enjoyed that. I was talking about the reward system of your brain, rehabilitation. Uh, we'll come back to it. Used to play WoW, Izzy. That's hilarious. I almost cursed. That made me so excited. I used to play all of these games as well. I used to play the crap out of all these games. A ton of WoW and a ton of StarCraft. I tell you what, I can't believe you used to play StarCraft, Izzy. A little strategist, huh? I love strategy games. They are my love for sure. One of my loves. Cindy G comes back, says, yes, my son, but more so power out. He actually paces and annoyed, hard to handle. Yes, other mental issues for him, doctor, given letters, but yes, withdrawal, almost, but yes, how to deal. Yes, so you will experience withdrawals. I bet you I have that written down. I can't believe I deleted that information on accident. I saw it coming too. Maybe we can pull it back up here one sec. I'm inept without my notes, guys. There's a roach on my keyboard, and now it's on the floor. Please hold. Thank you for your patience. There we go. This should give me what I want. Oh, the notes, they come. Okay. We can work with this, guys. We can work with this. So we need to look at this as any other addiction. In fact, we could look at it as a cocaine addiction as well. Now, when if you're researching on what to do for a cocaine addiction, you're going to see a lot of professional help recommendations. Now, how would I do professional help for my gaming addicted child? And I don't know the answer to that, right? There may be a doctor that we can go see that specializes in, you said there's other mental health issues going on, right? So I would address those for sure, 100%. But then when it comes to the gaming addiction itself, he's escaping, right? We need to look at exactly what's going on here. He's escaping. Something in his life, or maybe a bunch of things in his mind and in his life are uncomfortable, right? So he's using games to escape, to live in a fantasy world, right? Um, Building other hobbies is going to be a really, really big deal. Now you're going to experience resistance. I would almost guarantee it from him if when encouraging him to engage in other activities, right? Because he wants to play the game. That's what's stoking his reward system, right? In his subconscious, he might not even be conscious of this, right? But in his subconscious, um, the game has the claws in him, right? The game has gripped him. The game is what's giving him his dopamine. Whether he realizes it or not, that's where he's receiving his rewards in his brain, right? So we need to activate that system through other methods, right? Whether it's building new hobbies or making new friends or getting a girlfriend, right? There's a bunch of ways we can do this, but he has to find another passion and he has to chase it. Now, we can lead a horse to water, but we can't teach it how to be okay when we decide to leave, right? So there's a lot that we can do to help him, but he's going to have to take the final steps. He's going to have to take some of the steps himself. Um, which is the tricky part, right? So I would just do everything that I can to encourage other behaviors, other habits, maybe limit the amount of time he can play games. I have to say, in my experience as a kid with gaming addiction, living with my mom, she would take everything away, and this would just stoke the flame harder. In fact, World of Warcraft came out when I was living with my mom, and I really wanted to play it. I played a bunch of it, and then I wasn't doing so good in school, so she took it away. She took everything away. But in particular, she identified my attraction to this one video game, World of Warcraft, and she never let me play World of Warcraft ever again. So when I got out on my own as an adult, I rekindled this World of Warcraft gaming thing. I started playing again because it was in my head this whole time as this thing that I always wanted that I never had, right? And then so I continued my addiction when I was on my own, right? I bided my time. I waited until that moment. I was looking forward to it the whole time that I wasn't able to play. So I wouldn't say take it away 100%. I feel like that doesn't help a whole lot. I mean, it might just put it on hold, right? So maybe limit the amount of time and then encourage other behaviors, right? Encourage other hobbies. That would be my take. That's my opinion. Now, again, I'm not a father, right? I'm not a parent. This is just one guy's perspective from I can relate more with your son, I would imagine, right? So that's just my 2 cents, but I think it's a very, very powerful 2 pennies, um, to be honest. What happens if your new passion becomes the new addiction? Well, depending on what it is, it might be a great trade, you know? It all depends. If your new passion becomes the new addiction, how healthy is it, right? I think choosing your new passion or choosing your novel experience, what you build for your is going to be important, right? Now we believe in harm reduction on this channel, right? We can trade up, but this is a great question, Brianna. We definitely want to be aware of what we are trading for. What trader exactly are we making? In order to break a habit, you have to build a habit, right? So that's not saying. I mean, that's just to say be aware of what trade you're making. Tamber June says Psychology Today online has professionals who treat gaming addiction, and you can filter the search for insurance, etc. Interesting. This is a great resource, Tamber. I appreciate that. Does everyone get this? Psychology Today online has professionals. That's really good to know. That's really good to know. I think the world's making a change for the better as far as mental health and addictions and like medical stuff. It may be wildly expensive to pay for medical assistance in this country, but we are at least understanding it as a people better. Much, much better. Jane Aldrich, good morning. Harold Torres, hello, hello. Coming from a gaming addict, it's an escape from the real world. After getting all my responsibilities done is a necessity. Absolutely, right? If I don't impose this boundary, this limit on myself, I'm going to go balls to the walls, right? I absolutely, as a gaming addict myself, need this rule right here. Thank you for that, Harold. If I wake up in the morning and immediately pull the game up, I'm not doing this. I'm not painting. I'm not gonna clean the kitchen. I'm gonna shoot people all day long in the game, right? In the game, shoot people. I'm not a people shooter. But Vespine gas depleted. You require more pylons, Izzy, obviously. You must construct a supply depot. Kelly Ann, good to see you. That made me smile. Oh my. Still smiling. I do enjoy a good board game night. I've been wanting to get like a D&D campaign going or like a Pathfinder's campaign going, but I haven't been able to find the right group of people. Dale Cox was a big gamer back in the day, but now I just spend all my spare time on the garden and walking the doggo in the woods so she can hunt. What kind of dog do you have, Dale? You sound like you have a picturesque life, dude. I could see myself living in the woods with my dog, just smoking peppers. That sounds so absolutely divine, I have to say. One day, get some property, get a dog, get a smoker, I'll be good to go. Captain, I find that my experiences as a child inform my parenting style greatly. You may not have kids now, but you lead with empathy. And ultimately, what does a child need more than empathetic guidance? Wow, I really appreciate this, Izzy. I just try and put things in perspective and I guess little counter argument, right? Like, just for the record, everyone, I'm not a parent and I just wouldn't want anyone to feel deceived, right? I guess I don't necessarily need to do that. Y'all all showed up here for a reason, right? James Collins, what's going on? But I appreciate those words very much. They make me feel good. Doggo, Argentina. I'm not sure I'm familiar. Well, as an adult, I mean, we can everything except restricting, right? We can still apply the same concept, Cindy. Um, Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I would maybe even encourage him to check out the lifeboat, and maybe point him in the direction of this episode. I don't know. I often, in my experience, when I was told about my addiction, it always really hurt my feelings and drove me away. But at some point, I had to admit to myself that I did have, some issues, and that I should probably seek help. So it always, I guess what I'm saying is it always wounded my pride when people made suggestions alluding to me having a problem. But I think it was necessary. It was just something that I needed to get over and get through. She's like a pit bull, but bigger. Oh my. Lovely. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. I do pit bulls have got to be my favorite breed. Little pitties. Takes your breath away. It's so hot. Wow. Put some more coffee on top of that. All right, let's get back to this information. So another similarity is the tolerance. You will build a tolerance with cocaine, but also if you're playing games, you will often increase the amount of time spent gaming to experience the same feeling, right? Again, this is stoking the reward system. It's dropping endorphins on your brainstem. This is going to turn into compulsive behavior because of this, right? Powerful urge to continue engaging in the activity despite consequences, even when it's interfering with work, relationships, health. Now, if we were talking about cocaine and not games, we would be talking about despite the risk of legal problems, despite health issues, despite ruined relationships, right? There is a difference. I think that cocaine is much, much, much more destructive. But the way it's working on your brain, what's happening inside of your body, all of these things are quite similar, right? Very, very similar. Obviously, gaming addiction may not rot your teeth or damage your lungs and your brain, but it can be destructive. I might have made a mistake with this tincture today, man. I'm feeling the Bernie all inside me today. Kellyanne says, I went outside once. The graphics weren't that good. I think that's funny. Cindy G says, I talk about the boat lots. Love your dad. Found him on Aaron. My first check when I came online. Wonderful too, Captain. Well, thank you for saying so, Cindy. I haven't had cap cramps in a while, but today I will have them. I can tell. I can definitely tell. Maybe the accumulation of capsaicin inside my body is becoming a lot over since I'm eating more and more consistently. Sandra Ferguson, good to see you. SoCal friend, hello, hello. My tummy hurts a ton. Laura Lou. Laura Lou says, my son just had to stop gaming while we were in Florida and couldn't wait to get back to it. But he has ADHD, so he is naturally prone to gaming, and it gives him the dopamine he's always searching for. Interesting. Sounds like me. I might have to cut this short. My stomach is so upset. In fact, the reason we started late today was because my stomach was so upset. Full disclosure, um, which really bums me out. I was really excited about this, and I mean, I guess we've done well. We're just going to miss out on 30 minutes. Brianna wants to thank me. Thank you so much for being so gracious with everyone yesterday. A lot of people were really down. I needed that in all of you. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for saying so. I was not looking forward to going on after the election, I have to say. So I figured instead of shying away from it, let's literally address it directly. Let's look it right in the face and take its power away. So that was my intention, and I'm really glad that it helped. It was definitely not the easiest thing I've ever done. But I'm only doing what I can. I'm only doing my best, right? So if coming on and holding space and talking about stuff is what I can do, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And yeah, I hope everyone's coping all right. The sun is even brighter today than it was yesterday, so there's that. That's something that directly affects me. I like that. Send it out next week. All right, Dale, I hear you. Kellyanne says another gaming quip. Not now. I'm saving the world. I love saving the world in a video game. There was a massively multiplayer online game about superheroes. Do you remember this game? You could be a villain or a hero. I forget what it was called, but it was pretty neat for a little while. I played the crap out of that game. As far as addictions go, I think super hots are pretty all right. Maybe I can push through, guys. Maybe I can it's coming in waves, so maybe it'll dip down and then it won't come back until the end. So I need to do some research on this, Cindy, and everyone else talking about ADHD. This is something that I have pretty bad. What is the connection between ADHD? Man, you guys are really out here today. Maybe I should not get rid of the diatomaceous earth. I'm running into lots of really small roaches today that are covered in the diatomaceous earth, but they're all really small. So there's something's happening. Can't believe I'm still dealing with these guys. I don't know if I told you, but the next door, the vacant apartment, which allegedly was where they were all coming from, it got remodeled yesterday and the day before. I heard the workers over there jamming. Wow, it hurts a lot now. So I think that the roaches may be coming to an end. Hopefully, that's the idea. All right, I can't do it. I'm going to get out of here. Much love, everyone. Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It certainly makes a difference. Maybe lay off the tincture till my stomach calms. I might just need to not do it regularly. I seem to continue to run into this roadblock when I'm doing it continually. So maybe it's just a now and again thing. I don't know. Don't know, Robin. You may be right, though. Constantly hurting myself. I'll tell you what. In Carnosol, I saw this guy in the airport using I think it was an Oculus. It was some sort of VR, and he was like turning knobs. He was like sitting there like eating crackers with like this most disgusting open mouth chew, and was just like he was playing games and eating crackers. Like he was eating physical real crackers, but turning invisible knobs and doing stuff. It was very, very weird. And the open mouth chew just took it all the way home. It was so crazy. And then someone next to me struck up a conversation with him about the VR and not his disgusting open mouth chew. I was like, well, now he's just going to continue doing it. They'll find their way, CBC. I'm sure they'll find their way. Things like this can't go on forever. You start to experience such debilitating, I wanted to say rewards right there, such debilitating consequences that life can't continue the way it was going before. So, like, they may sacrifice X, Y, and Z in their life for games, but eventually they won't have anything they can sacrifice anymore. And I know that's not a good outlook, right? That's not a inspiring statement, but at that point, they will have to make a choice. I don't think that they can stay on this road forever. And I'm trying to give you hope by saying that, and I might be failing. That might not be the most hopeful thing I could have said, but um, there's that. Becoming unsure, 37 years old. Well, maybe that's what they want. I don't know. Who knows? I often think to myself, what if I didn't have the foresight that I do have, right? What if I just blindly walked down the road for 37 years, right? What if I didn't change my ways because I wanted certain things? Well, I'd probably still be in the same position, right? And I often wonder what separates me from people that don't make it. I think there's just at some point we have to choose. And if they don't choose, no one can choose for them, right? We can encourage, we can help, we can open doors for them even, right? But they have to walk through. They have to make the decision. They have to realize the danger, right? And that's not something that we can do for them. We can maybe talk to them about it, right? See how they feel. But at the end of the day, they have to drive their boat, right? And that is the unfortunate part. And it's really painful to watch when they don't want to steer into safe waters, right? When they want to sail into uncharted danger. Spanx, how did I prep? I didn't. Maybe that's the problem, Dale. How do you prep? Hook me up. Hook me up, Big Daddy. You got some secrets for me? Am I missing the whole point here of the super hot thing? Am I supposed to prep, dude? Oh, I probably should have eaten food first. I bet you that makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Johnny, good morning. You got to prep first always, says Dale. You know, that's not the first time I've heard that. You'd think I would take it seriously, remember, and just remember, right? Do I just eat something solid? Is that the way that I prep, Dale? My uncle tells me nothing. He just likes to see me burn. At least a little something. Okay. Okay. That can be done. That can definitely be done. I've drawn this goodbye out far too long. The bombs, hello from New York. Good to see you. Welcome in. Can do yogurt. Okay. I think that's what I'll do this morning. Some yogurt and some fruit. I have some chamomile tea as well. Use the tincture in food. I used to cook with the oil. Maybe we can bring that back. When Lucy and I were together, I was just discovering all this stuff. And don't let Johnny pressure you, says Robin. That's so funny. I uh, I try not to. They really want me to eat that surstroming. I keep telling them no. They keep telling me I'm going to do it anyways. I'm not entirely sure if that's going to happen or not. Hello from Chicagoland. What's going on, mixed bag? Yelling at the screen. I used to do a lot of that. It's never a good look. It's never a good look. Yeah, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. These things affect my brain so viciously. What's going on, mocked? Do the surstroming. Yeah, you would want me to do that, wouldn't you? I'm nervous about it. I tell you what, I can eat stuff like even if I make a face, like I can stomach quite a bit of stuff. But the surstroming, I am not confident that I mean that's just all bad. You know, there's really no redeeming quality to the surstrom. And you know, I'm not a big fan of puking. I'm not a big fan of whatever made me puke now being in my nose, which is a potentiality, right? That could happen. It probably will happen. I'm gonna get inverted somehow because my stomach's gonna be all crazy, and I'm gonna be, you know, just plug your nose. I may do so. I feel like when you do that, though, like the nose serves to separate some of the intensity into taste and smell. When you plug your nose, you just get all of that intensity in your mouth instead. I feel like it makes the taste worse. Is it really that bad? Asks Tina Marie. I wonder. I wonder, is it really that bad? I would have to say it's probably really, really, really bad. I mean, it's like rotting fish. I'm pretty sure is what we're talking about here. And I also, Tina Marie, it's interesting you asked this. I've had this thought many times myself. The licorice was way worse in my head than it was in my mouth. Um, the idea of the licorice was way worse. Now, I don't think that the surstroming is worse in my head. I think it's going to be way worse in person. But um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Time will tell. I'm sure it's going to be terrible. And Dale, I'm sure that time will also change how my stomach interacts with this stuff, but it's quite disconcerting sometimes, I have to say. Zaphi Beeble Brox, what's going on, Mr. President? I voted for you the other day. Theoretically edible, I feel like that's not the kind of thing I want to eat. Okay. Give a shout out to my dad, the Admiral, here in about an hour when he comes on. We're going to go get some more canvases either today or tomorrow. So when I do, we will pick back up on the painting. Looking forward to it. And I guess the rest, just have a great day, guys. Do some service today. Do something for someone else and do something for your own self as well. Make time for both. Make it a great day. Much love from the captain. All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks for being here.